and I would now like to give the floor to Mr. Christian Bueger, professor at the University of Copenhagen and research fellow at the United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research. You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, distinguished ministers, excellencies, members of the Security Council, guardians of our shared oceans. At the outset, allow me to express my gratitude to Greece for convening the high-level open debate and for the invitation to participate. In 2021, a single ship, the Ever Given, that you might know, blocked the Suez Canal for just 6 days, costing the global economy billions and disrupting supply chains worldwide. This stark reminder of our maritime vulnerability underscores a critical truth. Never before in history have we been as dependent on the sea as we are today. The data are clear. Since the 1990s, our use of the sea has been massively accelerating, with maritime trade, for instance, increasing by 300% and nearly 60% of global oil and gas supplies transported across the oceans. This expansion leads to new threats and vulnerabilities. Maritime security is a vital component of international security and peace. It is about protecting the lifeline of the global economy, trade, communications, and ensuring access to energy and food for billions of people worldwide. Over the past 2 decades, this reality has increasingly been reflected in the Council's meeting agenda. Threats to peace and security ranging from transnational blue crimes such as piracy, sanction violations, armed attacks on shipping, and the spillover of conflict from land have recurrently featured in Council discussions. However, as discussed at the 2021 high-level open debate on maritime security, the Council has been dealing with these issues in an ad hoc manner. There are no sustained efforts to address maritime security systematically. Consequently, many emerging issues lack adequate attention. Today presents an opportunity for the Council to lay out pathways for meaningful change and recalibrating our collective efforts. Mr. President, in 2024, the United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research launched a new work stream on maritime security. As part of this, I had the pleasure to lead a first comprehensive assessment of global maritime security and how the United Nations system can address it more effectively. Allow me to highlight 4 key insights from our research. First, despite significant international efforts, blue crimes such as piracy and smuggling persist, and they continue to undermine regional stability. The resurgence of piracy off the coast of Somalia last year, previously believed to be contained, serves as an important reminder that our efforts in combating crimes at sea must be sustainable. Specifically, small island states and states recovering from war need ongoing, not intermittent support. Second, our report details a set of arising maritime security challenges: the proliferation of autonomous weapon systems, naval mines, maritime cybersecurity threats, substandard shipping linked to sanction evasion, and the need to protect critical maritime infrastructures such as internet cables or green energy platforms, all require sustained and systematic attention. Third, there's a strong need for evidence-based decision-making. We need a clear understanding of where maritime security threats are evolving, where they are escalating, and how they can be addressed. Yet, so far, we lack such evidence on a global level. The ongoing World Ocean Assessment, to give but one example, barely considers maritime security. New initiatives such as the International Platform for Ocean Sustainability that will be launched at the UN Ocean Conference in Nice this year likewise do not address security dimensions. We launched the UNIDIR Maritime Security Workstream to assist, but more efforts are needed. Fourth, it is our conclusion that the United Nations system's approach to maritime security needs recalibration and streamlining. There is no global strategy and no coordination instrument in place. More than 22 agencies address aspects of maritime security under different mandates. This includes what we call in the report the Big Five: the International Maritime Organization, the Food and Agricultural Organization, the UN Environment Programme, the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, and the International Organization for Migration. None of these has a comprehensive mandate. This implies there's a high risk of duplication and reduced effectiveness in capacity building. The Council, therefore, should consider supporting and synchronizing coordination, information sharing, and strategic thinking. This could be done through a standing item on the Council agenda. The Women, Peace and Security agenda, for instance, might serve as a useful template. The Council should also consider creating the Office of a Special Rapporteur. This would enable the UN as a whole to address maritime security more consistently and also ensure that capacity building becomes more effective. As the waters that connect us face growing threats, our response must be equally connected. The security of our oceans is not merely a matter of protecting shipping lanes. It is about safeguarding our shared ocean future. I urge the members of the Council to chart a course toward a more systematic, evidence-based, and coordinated maritime security governance. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Bueger, for your briefing and for your very concrete suggestions.